Hello, my name is Paul Patrick Maluli. I am replying to. I'm posting my virtual debate response to Nathaniel Hochschild. Hope I'm saying that correctly. Sorry if I'm not saying it correctly. I believe that's how you say it. And in your argument, you say that China is not a threat to the United States or a threat to the Earth, and I believe that it is, and I'm arguing against that, obviously. And so, in the beginning of your argument, you stated that Canada, and if China were Canada and Mexico, then we wouldn't be worried. Now, that is correct because Canada and Mexico are not a threat at all. They do not. They are not trying to influence anyone. They are not a global superpower. They do not have a GDP even comparable to China's, and so that is a very invalid argument because Canada does not have neither Canada or Mexico nearly have nowhere near as many people as China or the economic dominance as China. So that's a very invalid argument, and I mean you're right in a sense. We wouldn't really care about them because they're essentially irrelevant on the global scale. Not irrelevant, but not as important as China, because China's GDP is almost the same as ours practically. And now they are a very large rising global superpower, and one of the biggest threats that China already has with us is our debt. We have a ton of debt that China has that then it is really screwing us over, and that has just continued on and on for the past 8 years, or I mean, it was mainly the last 8 to 10 years. I mean, it was happening for a while, but mainly the last 8 to 10 years, it's gotten really bad. Where China's just expanded exponentially due to our debt. We've been giving them so much money, basically bending ourselves over just to get screwed by them, and it's happening right now. And as we can see with Donald Trump trying to bump the sanctions on them now, people are giving mixed reviews about it. I think it's a good thing because we need to slow down their progress, and we need to start bringing back the labor into our personal land. And if we don't, we're going to be screwed by China eventually, because we already are getting screwed by China, but he's trying to prevent that. So there's that. And now, you also say that you say that China is not trying to influence anybody, especially its own neighbors. You gave North Korea, for example. And China would never try to influence North Korea because, one, they're pretty irrelevant to China when it comes to anything. Like, they don't need resources from North Korea. They don't want to influence North Korea because North Korea is on another planet practically with the ruler, and the people of North Korea have no idea what's going on in the real world, and China knows that, so they don't even want to pursue that. They would never attempt to influence North Korea because there's nothing that they could really gain from North Korea. There's no abundant resources. There's no great people that are ready to work and be a part of Chinese society. They've already got tons of labor. They don't need that. And you say that China is like America in the sense that they're just trying to find the best deal capitalist wise, and they are, but they do want control. They don't want just the best deal. America's good looking for the best deal financially. China's looking for the best deal of control. They want to be able to kind of run the world, and that's what they're trying to do eventually. And they're heading towards that path. And if we don't stop them, it's going to happen, especially because of all the debt that they have that's ours. It's going to screw us later, and if we don't get it, if we don't at least, what's the word? Kind of bring it back. I don't know how to describe it. Like if we don't start reducing that debt, it's going to screw us, and it already is. So, yes. Let me see if we can. Oh, and then you said we should just consider being friendly with China, and we've done that, but the thing that's not working because now that they have us right by the you know what, and we can't move now because we're kind of screwed. That's why Trump's enacting sanctions just to bring it back, and so we can kind of get our things back, and that's mainly it. China is a very big threat, and they are getting to be a bigger threat, and it is our fault. We are feeding the threat, but we can also stop the threat if we just bring our jobs back here and doing our own labor back here. So that's my virtual debate response. Thank you, and you had a good argument, honestly.